Going back to South Beach, so to start, after 2 games, who do you guys think has been the player you are most impressed with so far?
To start, the most impressive I do have to say is Bam Adebayo. Close second, though, I gotta give him his shout out. Close second is Gabe Vincent, which has been just masterful. But Bam, I think he's flipped the switch this playoffs for some reason. Way better than last series.
Yeah, my thing with Bam was just like it's not even so much when he's on the court, but like when he's off the court, you definitely notice too because like
Yeah.
the team. I feel like if the Miami Heat were like so close to getting like caught up to the Nuggets, Bam comes out and the Nuggets go on like a 14-4 run.
I agree with that. Bam has, compared to Eastern Conference Finals, he's really popped off right now. I was going to say Gabe Vincent though. This dude has been absolutely hooping. 21 points per game, led them last game with 23, had 19 in game one, 57.7. He's shooting at splits of 58, 56, and 100. He's been doing a great job taking care of the ball. Just has 2 turnovers, just dictating the pace of the game, being smart with the ball. There was a play in game 2. There was like a delayed screen. Bam had it at the top. Gabe went and set a screen for Duncan Robinson, who was curling. Miscommunication, and Gabe Vincent was wide open for a 3. Drilled it. A few possessions later, same action, but they trail Duncan Robinson then, and he's wide open for a screen. That's the impact that Gabe has brought so far through this series in just the first 2 games because he's been consistent.
I just want to shout out Eric Spoelstra. I think Eric Spoelstra is the best coach when it comes to calling timeouts. Like, he knows when to stop a run immediately. If the crowd's too loud, he's like, don't like it. They're too loud.
I don't even think he calls the timeout. He just walks out there, and they just know.
Yeah, I demand a timeout right now.
Who are your guys' most disappointing players that you have seen so far this series?
I know he's been kind of injured and such, but, like, I don't know, just like Caleb Martin, I thought he was going to come out so hot after Game 7 against the Celtics, but, like, he's had 6 points combined the last 2 games. I don't know. Like, I was talking a lot of like good shit about Caleb Martin, saying, "Oh, dude, he's gonna go off. He's gonna ride with momentum." He's just not. I'm pretty sad.
Yeah, he's really struggled, I think, so far in the finals. And when he really popped off in the Eastern Conference Finals, like averaging over 15 easily.
Yeah, I think that comes with, is it disappointing or were our expectations that he just have such a good series that suddenly, we put up, oh, Caleb Martin should be dropping 17 a game where, before the Eastern Conference Finals, like that wasn't really Caleb Martin's thing. Like he could hoop, but he wasn't the guy you wanted to rely on to score 20.
Yeah, I think it goes like to with being that role player, you're just expected to get 8 to 10. And yeah, I think expectations got high. A lot of people were talking about how he really popped off. And then that's kind of where like Gabe Vincent comes into play, where how he's been that consistent bright spot, but nobody's really talking about him.
I do agree that expectations were very high for Caleb Martin. And like I do feel like if he brings energy and defense, even if he does not score as much, I still think he plays a pivotal role in, what Miami has. The scoring can come from a lot of different ways in that offense. But the most disappointing, though, I mean, I said this one because I have crazy expectations for him, and it's Jimmy. Like, I expect way better out of him, like, for sure. And, like, he did make some shots, he made some free throws too late in the fourth to help, keep that terrific fourth to finish it out. But throughout the whole game, he's just inconsistent.
Yeah, so interesting that you bring up Jimmy. In game 2, every starter was positive and plus minus. Every bench player was negative and plus minus for the Miami Heat. But Jimmy was the closest to 0 of the starters with only 3. So a lot of people, while Jimmy's not having the best game, it seems like others are picking it up, at least from that point.
I did have a guy that's been disappointing for the Nuggets. I think it's been pretty obvious who it might be, and that's Michael Porter Jr.
Yep.
I think especially after the Western Conference Finals, a lot of people were expecting a lot from him because he's a really good shooter. He's capable of knocking down at least 3 a game. But so far, game 1, he went 2 for 11, and game 2, he went 1 for 6. Been very disappointing, and he just hits a couple of those. They win game 1 by a lot more, building confidence, and then game 2, they probably win. And so now it's tough going on the road, having this shooting slump, and an arena that you play once a year, it's going to be tough to get into a rhythm, especially when you can't get going at home.
That's true.
I think the biggest disappointing, to me about Michael Porter Jr., biggest disappointment would also just be he looks lost defensively.
Yes.
And like when you're not shooting well, you have to be playing good defense if you're going to be on the floor. And there were, like we brought up Gabe Vincent, there was a time where he was wide open because Michael Porter Jr. went with the wrong guy, didn't switch. And suddenly you have Gabe Vincent knock down a 3 for the lead. And that, I remember them even bringing up in the broadcast. They're like, you cannot be caught just 15 feet off your guy in this close of a game in the fourth quarter.
Especially when that guy's a shooter.
Yeah, Jeff Van Gundy literally said like they're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting with Michael Porter Jr. because like, he left Gabe Vincent so wide open. I remember hearing that, I was like, damn, bro, they're shredding.
It was between him and Brown, the rookie, right? Him and the rookie, they got mixed up in the exchange. When I saw that,
how do you guys feel
like,
about Christian Braun, bro?
I think he's just that good energy guy, along with like Bruce Brown. That just is what the Nuggets need, is that energy off the bench. He's a young rookie, just has an insane vertical, can get the crowd into it with those insane dunks like the one he had last night. I've been impressed by him, and I was impressed with him at Kansas too.